Many a times we say something and then we say that I said this by mistake. So in a way, it's sometimes correct that a person said it by mistake, in the sense that he didn't think before he spoke. But the way we express this, as if that our tongues are not in our control, that it as if it works on its own, whereas that is not the reality. Like a person moves his hand by his choice. It's not that it moves without his choice. He decides he wants to move his hand, he wants to hold something, he wants to lift something. Likewise, he moves his leg, he moves it with his choice. He decides that he wants to walk, so he walks. So the tongue also cannot move on its own without his willing to move it, without his conscious decision that he wants to move it. But what happens is that because the tongue hasn't been trained to first stop, allow the person to think, and then speak whether it's correct, the appropriate thing to say, then to say it, the tongue becomes, so to say, out of control. But it is not out of control, it is in control. It is just that a person has not learned how to control it. Like a person, he does not train his child, that child, and people say it's out of control. But it's not that the child is out of control. There is control, but just that now it has come out of the limits because of lack of training, because of lack of discipline. So the lack of discipline on the tongue also, as a result, a person then says things first and then thinks about what I said. And as a result, he causes so much of damage in the process. Damage and harm sometimes which is irreparable. The harm that sometimes carries on for ages. So the thing to be very conscious about is our tongue, how we speak, what we say, whether we are saying what is appropriate. Imam Ghazali rahmatullah alayhi, he says that the tongue, if it speaks kind words, in those kind words, the hardest heart, the heart that is harder than rock, but depending on the kind of words, sometimes the type of words that this person speaks can melt even a heart that is harder than rock. And if a person speaks hard, meaning in a harsh manner, hard words, very abruptly, speaks in a way that is very hurtful, it can harden a heart that is softer than silk. That a person sometimes, he keeps speaking to somebody in that manner and repeatedly keeps speaking things that are very hurtful, very, very painful. So once, twice, 10 times, eventually that heart that is softer than silk can become harder than rock towards him. Now, nothing else was done. Physically, there was nothing done to the person. It was the words alone, the kind of words that were used. Now, as a result of lack of discipline over the tongue, lack of training, lack of consciousness, the person becomes habitual of speaking anything and speaking anyhow. And over time, it now becomes like as if it is out of control. It's not out of control, it's in his choice, but he has made that his manner and way. So now anyone and everyone becomes the victim of his loose tongue, or how he speaks, his manner of speech. Neither are his parents safe, nor is his family safe, nor are his children safe, nor are his friends safe, any colleague safe, anybody around. Anyone and everyone can become the victim. Anyone and everyone can become at the receiving end of this. And as a result, the harm then sometimes, it carries on for ages. So we have to ponder about the aspect of our tongue and make the effort to rein in the tongue like that horse. If it's not trained, it's not reined in, then it will take the rider in any direction and take him to his destruction. So the tongue is an extremely sensitive organ that Allah Ta'ala has blessed us with, very great potential in it to earn tremendous good, and at the same time, if it's not controlled, then it can become a means of tremendous destruction as well.
Allah Allah कैसा प्यारा नाम है आशिकों का मीना और जाम है